Every single day gives you a fresh opportunity to become a little better than you were yesterday, but most people let those days pass on autopilot. Improvement is not about giant leaps or overnight success. It is about the small daily decisions you make when no one is watching. The way you wake up, the way you speak to yourself, the way you react under pressure, and the way you treat your time all shape the direction of your life. If you want real change, you have to start paying attention to the daily things you can control. The first thing you need to improve every day is your mindset. Your mind is the engine that drives everything else. If you start your day feeding it doubt, fear, and negativity, your actions will follow that direction. You must train yourself to think with intention. That means choosing belief over excuses, growth over comfort, and purpose over distraction. When challenges show up, and they will, the question is not why me, the question is what is this teaching me? A strong mindset does not mean you never feel tired or discouraged. It means you refuse to let those feelings control your actions. Another daily area that demands improvement is discipline. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you do not feel like it. It is getting up when your body wants to stay in bed, focusing when your mind wants to wander, and staying committed when results are not yet visible. Every day, you either strengthen your discipline or weaken it. Small acts like sticking to a routine, finishing what you start, and honoring your word to yourself build a foundation that success can stand on. You also need to improve the way you manage your time. Time is the one resource everyone has equally, yet the outcomes are completely different. The difference is not in how much time you have, but in how you use it. Wasted hours turn into wasted years. Every day you should ask yourself if your time is being invested or spent. Scrolling endlessly, procrastinating, and avoiding responsibility slowly steal your future. When you start protecting your time, your life begins to change. Your habits are another daily area that cannot be ignored. Habits are powerful because they work even when you are not thinking. Good habits quietly move you forward. Bad habits quietly hold you back. What you eat, what you watch, what you listen to, and how you move your body all matter. You do not need to be perfect, but you need to be consistent. One healthy choice today is a vote for the person you want to become tomorrow. You must also improve your emotional control. Life will test you through people, situations, and unexpected setbacks. If you react emotionally to everything, you give away your power. Learning to pause, to breathe, and to respond instead of react is a daily practice. Strength is not loud, it is calm. When you control your emotions, you control the direction of your day, and eventually the direction of your life. Another daily improvement is the way you speak. Your words shape your reality. The way you talk to others affects your relationships, and the way you talk to yourself affects your confidence. Complaining weakens you, gratitude strengthens you. Speaking with honesty, respect, and intention builds character. Every day you should be aware of the language you use, because words repeated often become beliefs. You also need to improve your focus. Distractions are everywhere, and most people are busy but not productive. Focusing on too many things at once leads to mediocrity. When you focus on what truly matters and give it your full attention, progress accelerates. Focus is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. Every day you choose where your attention goes, and whatever you focus on grows. Finally, you must improve your commitment to personal growth. Learning should never stop. Whether it is reading, listening, observing, or reflecting, growth requires humility and curiosity. You do not improve by repeating the same patterns and expecting different results. You improve by being honest with yourself and willing to change. Every day is a chance to learn something new about yourself and the world around you. When you start improving these daily things, mindset, discipline, time, habits, emotions, words, focus, and growth, you do not just change your routine, you change your identity. Over time, these small improvements compound into confidence, clarity, and strength, and before you realize it, the life you once dreamed about begins to take shape naturally through the choices you make every single day. Every change you want in your life begins in the quiet space of your mind. The way you think when no one is watching determines how you act when life puts pressure on you. If your thoughts are scattered, negative, or undisciplined, your life will reflect that chaos. Daily mindset control is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about choosing your response no matter what the situation looks like. Each morning, before the world gets a chance to influence you, your thoughts should already be aligned with purpose. What you allow into your mind first often decides the direction of your entire day. Most people lose before they even begin because they wake up and immediately surrender their mind to distractions, complaints, and comparisons. They check their phone, absorb other people's opinions, and start reacting instead of leading their own thoughts. When you control your mindset daily, you decide what deserves your attention and what does not. You understand that not every thought that enters your mind deserves to stay there. Some thoughts need to be challenged, replaced, or completely removed because they do not serve the future you are trying to build. Mindset control is built through awareness. You must notice how you speak to yourself when things go wrong. Do you criticize yourself harshly, or do you correct yourself calmly and move forward? The voice in your head becomes the architect of your life. If that voice is always negative, doubtful, or fearful, your actions will follow that tone. When you train your mind daily, you learn to pause before reacting. You learn to question fear instead of obeying it. You learn to see obstacles as lessons rather than excuses. Thought control also means learning how to stay focused on what matters. Your energy is limited, and wasting it on unnecessary worries weakens your ability to act. A disciplined mind understands that worrying about things outside your control only steals power from the things you can change. When your thoughts are clear, your decisions become simpler. You stop overthinking every move and start trusting the process you are committed to. Clarity creates confidence, and confidence creates momentum. Every successful person understands that discipline of the mind is practiced daily, not occasionally. Motivation comes and goes, but a controlled mindset remains steady. On days when you feel tired, disappointed, or unmotivated, your thoughts should still be aligned with your values. You do not wait to feel good before doing what needs to be done. You train your mind to act first and let feelings catch up later. This is where growth separates from comfort. Daily mindset improvement also requires you to protect your mental environment. The people you listen to, the content you consume, and the conversations you engage in all influence your thinking. If you surround yourself with negativity, your mind absorbs it without permission. A strong mindset is selective. It does not entertain gossip, constant complaining, or hopeless thinking. It chooses growth, focused input, because what you feed your mind daily becomes part of your identity. Another key part of thought control is learning patience. Many people give up too early because their thoughts demand immediate results. A disciplined mindset understands that real progress takes time. It stays calm when results are slow and continues moving forward without panic. When you master patience, frustration loses its power over you. You stop reacting emotionally to delays and start trusting the work you are putting in every day. Your mindset also determines how you handle failure. Without control, failure feels personal and devastating. With control, failure becomes information. You learn from it instead of being defined by it. You understand that mistakes are part of the journey, not the end of it. A trained mind does not dwell on the past longer than necessary. It extracts the lesson and moves on stronger. Daily thought control helps you maintain emotional balance. Life will test you with stress, pressure, and unexpected challenges. If your mind is untrained, emotions take over and cloud judgment. When your mind is disciplined, emotions are acknowledged but not allowed to dictate actions. You learn to respond instead of react. This skill alone can change the quality of your relationships, decisions, and overall peace. The way you speak internally shapes your belief system. Repeating negative thoughts reinforces limitations. Repeating empowering thoughts builds confidence. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing language that strengthens you instead of weakens you. When you tell yourself daily that you are capable, disciplined, and improving, your actions begin to align with those beliefs naturally. Mindset control is also about responsibility. You stop blaming circumstances, people, or luck for where you are. You accept that your current results are connected to your previous thoughts and actions. This awareness is not meant to shame you but to empower you. Once you accept responsibility, you gain control. You realize that changing your thoughts daily gives you the ability to change your direction. Consistency in thought control creates inner stability. Even when life feels uncertain, your mind remains grounded. You trust yourself because you know you are disciplined enough to handle challenges. This trust builds self-respect, and self-respect strengthens your identity. When your identity is strong, outside opinions lose their influence over you. Improving your mindset daily is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming aware, intentional, and disciplined. Some days will be harder than others, but the commitment remains the same. You show up for your mind every day because you understand that everything you want to improve in your life starts there. When your thoughts are aligned, your habits follow. When your habits follow, your life begins to change naturally. Self-discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement, and without it, even the strongest desires remain unrealized. Every day presents a choice between what feels easy now and what creates a better future later. Discipline is choosing the future repeatedly, even when comfort tries to pull you in another direction. It is not about punishment or restriction, it is about commitment to the person you are trying to become. Most people wait for motivation before they act, but motivation is unreliable. It depends on mood, energy, and circumstances. Discipline does not. Discipline shows up whether you feel inspired or not. It is the quiet decision to do the work when excuses feel convincing. When you build discipline daily, you stop negotiating with yourself. You decide once and then follow through. Consistency is where discipline proves its power. One good decision will not change your life, but repeating that decision daily will. Success is rarely the result of one massive effort. It is the result of small actions done over and over again without drama. Waking up on time, sticking to a routine, finishing tasks, training your body, sharpening your skills. All of these actions seem ordinary, but together they create extraordinary results. Daily discipline builds trust with yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. Every time you break one, it weakens. Over time, this trust becomes part of your identity. You start seeing yourself as someone who follows through, someone who can be relied upon. That identity becomes a source of strength, especially during difficult moments. Discipline also teaches you how to manage discomfort. Growth is uncomfortable by nature. If you avoid discomfort, you avoid progress. Daily discipline trains you to sit with difficulty instead of running from it. You learn that discomfort is temporary, but regret lasts much longer. This understanding changes how you approach challenges. Instead of asking how to avoid pain, you ask what pain is worth enduring. Consistency requires structure. Without structure, discipline becomes difficult to maintain. Daily routines remove the need for constant decision-making. When your actions are planned, your willpower is protected. You are less likely to waste energy debating whether to act or not. You simply follow the system you have already committed to. Discipline is also about saying no. Saying no to distractions, no to instant gratification, and no to habits that move you away from your goals. This does not mean eliminating enjoyment from your life. It means prioritizing long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure. Each no strengthens your ability to say yes to what truly matters. Daily discipline sharpens focus. When your actions are consistent, your mind becomes clearer. You stop jumping between tasks and start finishing what you begin. This focus increases efficiency and reduces stress. You feel in control of your time rather than overwhelmed by it. Control over your time creates control over your life. Self-discipline also improves emotional stability. When you rely on discipline instead of emotion, your actions become steady. You no longer let bad moods decide your behavior. You understand that feelings change, but commitments remain. This stability allows you to keep moving forward even when emotions fluctuate. Consistency does not mean perfection. There will be days when you fall short. Discipline teaches you how to recover quickly instead of quitting entirely. One missed day does not become a reason to abandon the journey. You learn to correct your course without self-judgment. This resilience keeps progress alive. Daily discipline strengthens patience. You stop expecting instant results because you understand the power of accumulation. Small efforts add up. You trust the process because you are committed to it. This patience protects you from frustration and comparison. You focus on your own progress instead of measuring yourself against others. Discipline also creates freedom. While it may feel restrictive at first, it actually removes chaos. When you know what you need to do each day, mental clutter disappears. You experience less anxiety because your actions are aligned with your goals. This alignment creates peace. Consistency builds momentum. Once momentum is established, progress feels natural. Tasks that once felt difficult become habits. Habits reduce resistance. Reduced resistance increases speed. Over time, discipline stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like identity. Self-discipline also impacts how others perceive you. Reliability earns respect. When people see consistency in your actions, trust grows. Opportunities often come to those who demonstrate discipline because discipline signals readiness. Prepared individuals attract responsibility. Daily discipline strengthens your ability to delay gratification. You become comfortable waiting for results because you believe in the process. This belief protects you from shortcuts that compromise long-term success. You understand that shortcuts often lead to setbacks. Consistency creates clarity. When you show up daily, patterns emerge. You see what works and what does not. This awareness allows you to refine your approach. Discipline without reflection can lead to burnout, but discipline combined with awareness leads to mastery. Self-discipline is not about forcing yourself endlessly. It is about aligning your actions with your values. When your values are clear, discipline becomes meaningful. You are no longer working just to work, you are working with purpose. Over time, daily discipline reshapes your character. You become more resilient, focused, and confident. Challenges feel less intimidating because you trust your ability to handle them. This trust is earned through consistent action, not positive thinking. Consistency also builds momentum in areas you once avoided. Tasks that felt overwhelming become manageable when broken into daily actions. Discipline teaches you to face what you once feared. Facing fear builds courage. As discipline deepens, excuses lose power. You recognize them quickly and dismiss them. You no longer need perfect conditions to act. You act because action is part of who you are. Daily discipline is not about achieving a finish line. It is about living in alignment with your potential. Each day becomes a step forward, regardless of how small. When discipline and consistency become part of your identity, progress becomes inevitable and lasting. Your mindset shapes the direction of your life long before your actions do. What you believe about yourself quietly influences how you move, how you speak, and how you respond to pressure. Every single day, your mind is either being trained intentionally or programmed accidentally. If you are not guiding it, the world will do it for you. Improvement begins when you take responsibility for what you allow to live in your thoughts. Most limitations are not physical, they are mental. People quit long before they are exhausted, not because they cannot continue, but because their mind convinces them they should stop. The voice inside your head can either push you forward or pull you back. Learning to master that voice is one of the most important daily improvements you can make. You may not control every thought that enters your mind, but you do control which thoughts you give power to. Daily mental improvement requires awareness. You must notice when your thinking becomes negative, defensive, or fearful. Awareness creates choice. Without it, you react automatically. With it, you respond deliberately. When you pause and question your thoughts, you break patterns that have been running your life silently. This pause is where growth lives. Your self-talk matters more than you realize. The way you speak to yourself sets the tone for your actions. If your inner dialogue is harsh, progress feels heavy. If it is honest and encouraging, effort feels meaningful. Improving your life daily means replacing self-criticism with self-leadership. Leadership is not about being gentle all the time. It is about being fair, clear, and forward-focused. A strong mindset is built through repetition. Just like the body, the mind adapts to what it is exposed to consistently. If you feed it fear, it grows fear. If you feed it discipline, gratitude, and purpose, it grows strength. This is why what you watch, listen to, and read every day matters. Mental improvement is not accidental. It is intentional exposure to ideas that expand you rather than shrink you. Your mindset also determines how you interpret failure. Some people see failure as proof they are not good enough. Others see it as feedback. The difference is not talent, it is perspective. When you train your mind to see setbacks as lessons, you become harder to break. Daily improvement means asking better questions instead of making harsh conclusions. What can I learn from this moment instead of why does this always happen to me? Emotional control is part of mental growth. You do not need to suppress emotions, but you must learn how to manage them. Reacting emotionally gives temporary relief but often creates long-term damage. Responding thoughtfully requires strength. Each day you practice emotional discipline, you gain control over situations that once controlled you. This control builds confidence. Focus is another daily mental discipline. A distracted mind cannot build a meaningful life. Scattered attention leads to scattered results. Improving your focus means learning how to stay present with what matters. Multitasking may feel productive, but deep focus creates real progress. When you train your mind to stay with one task, you train patience, clarity, and excellence at the same time. Your mindset influences how you use time. When your mind lacks clarity, time gets wasted. When your mind is intentional, time gets invested. Daily improvement means becoming conscious of where your time goes and why. You begin to see time as a resource, not something to kill. This shift alone can change the direction of your life. Gratitude strengthens the mind in a powerful way. It does not mean ignoring problems. It means refusing to let problems define your entire experience. Daily gratitude grounds you. It reminds you of what is working, not just what is missing. A grateful mind is more resilient, more patient, and more focused. It creates emotional balance, especially during difficult periods. Mental improvement also requires learning how to be alone with your thoughts. Silence reveals patterns you may have been avoiding. When you slow down and listen, you discover fears, desires, and motivations that guide your behavior. Avoiding silence keeps you disconnected from yourself. Embracing it builds self-awareness and clarity. Your beliefs about effort matter. If you believe effort is pointless without immediate results, you will quit early. If you believe effort compounds over time, you will persist. Daily mindset improvement means reminding yourself that growth is gradual. You stop demanding instant transformation and start committing to daily progress. Comparison weakens the mind, it steals joy and distorts reality. Everyone is on a different timeline with different circumstances. Daily improvement means shifting focus inward. Measuring your progress against your past self creates motivation without envy. This internal focus builds confidence and peace. Your mindset also affects how you handle pressure. Pressure exposes mental habits. When stress rises, do you panic or do you focus? Daily mental training prepares you for pressure before it arrives. You develop calm through repetition, not hope. Calmness under pressure is a skill built through daily practice. Optimism is not denial. It is a decision to believe that effort is worth it. A strong mindset does not ignore difficulty. It believes in capability. You can acknowledge challenges without surrendering to them. This balanced optimism fuels persistence. Mental improvement also involves forgiveness. Holding on to past mistakes drains energy. Learning from them and letting go frees it. Every day you carry resentment, regret, or guilt. You carry unnecessary weight. Improvement means choosing growth over punishment. Clarity of purpose strengthens the mind. When you know why you are doing something, resistance weakens. Daily reflection on your purpose reconnects you to meaning. Meaning fuels endurance. Without it, even small tasks feel exhausting. Your mindset determines how you finish days, not just how you start them. Reflection at the end of each day reinforces learning. You notice what went well and what needs adjustment. This awareness turns experience into wisdom. Mental improvement is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming conscious, conscious of your thoughts, your reactions, your habits, and your direction. When you improve your mindset daily, you change the lens through which you see life. Through that lens, challenges become training, effort becomes identity, and progress becomes inevitable. Your daily habits quietly shape the life you are building. What you do repeatedly, even in small ways, becomes your identity over time. People often look for dramatic changes, but real transformation is usually hidden in ordinary routines. Improvement begins when you stop underestimating the power of consistency and start respecting the impact of small actions done every day. Every habit is a vote for the type of person you are becoming. When you wake up and choose discipline over comfort, you are reinforcing self-respect. When you delay important tasks, you are reinforcing avoidance. These choices may feel insignificant in the moment, but they accumulate. Daily improvement means becoming intentional about the habits you practice without thinking. Morning routines set the tone for your entire day. The way you start often determines how you finish. If you begin your day in chaos, rushing and reacting, your mind stays scattered. If you begin with intention, clarity follows. Improving your life daily means creating a morning rhythm that prepares you mentally and emotionally before the world starts demanding your attention. Your physical habits influence your mental strength. Sleep, nutrition, and movement are not separate from discipline. They are part of it. A tired body weakens focus. A neglected body lowers motivation. Taking care of your health daily is not vanity, it is responsibility. When your body is supported, your mind performs better. Time management is a habit, not a talent. People who seem productive are often simply consistent with how they use time. They protect it. They plan it. They respect it. Daily improvement requires you to stop treating time casually. When you begin to schedule priorities instead of prioritizing leftovers, progress becomes predictable. The habit of finishing what you start builds confidence. Incomplete tasks drain energy. Each unfinished commitment creates mental noise. Completing small tasks daily clears space in your mind and reinforces trust in yourself. You begin to believe in your ability to follow through, and that belief fuels bigger goals. Daily learning is a habit that compounds faster than almost anything else. Reading a few pages, listening to something educational, or reflecting on experience sharpens your perspective. You do not need to learn everything at once. You need to learn consistently. Knowledge applied daily becomes wisdom. Your environment supports or sabotages your habits. Cluttered spaces often reflect cluttered thinking. Organized environments reduce friction. Improving your life daily means adjusting your surroundings so good habits are easier and bad habits are harder. Discipline is often about design, not willpower. The habit of reflection transforms experience into growth. Without reflection, days blur together. With it, lessons become clear. Taking time daily to review what worked and what did not builds self-awareness. This habit allows you to course correct before mistakes become patterns. Emotional habits matter as much as physical ones. How you respond to stress, disappointment, and success becomes automatic over time. Daily improvement means noticing emotional reactions and choosing healthier responses. You may not control triggers, but you control patterns. Consistency beats intensity. Many people burn out because they rely on motivation instead of routine. Motivation is unpredictable. Habits are reliable. When improvement becomes part of your routine, progress continues even on difficult days. The habit of setting daily intentions keeps you aligned. When you know what matters today, distractions lose power. Intentions guide focus. Without them, the day controls you. With them, you control the day. Discipline is a habit built through practice, not personality. Nobody is born disciplined. It is trained through repetition. Each day you choose effort over excuses. Discipline grows stronger. Over time, what once felt difficult becomes automatic. The habit of honesty with yourself is essential. Self-deception delays growth. Improvement requires truth. When you acknowledge weaknesses without judgment, you create space for change. Daily honesty builds integrity. Your communication habits influence your relationships. Listening, speaking clearly, and responding thoughtfully improve connections. Strong relationships support growth. Improving how you communicate daily strengthens your personal and professional life. Financial habits reflect discipline and awareness. Spending without intention creates stress. Saving and investing with purpose creates stability. Daily financial mindfulness builds long-term freedom. The habit of patience protects progress. Growth takes time. Impatience leads to shortcuts that often backfire. Daily improvement means trusting the process and staying committed even when results are slow. Rest is a habit, not a reward. Overworking without recovery leads to burnout. Scheduling rest improves performance. Balance is not weakness, it is sustainability. Daily habits shape confidence. When your actions align with your values, confidence grows naturally. You do not need external validation when your internal standards are clear. The habit of gratitude reframes experience. It shifts focus from lack to progress. Daily gratitude strengthens resilience and emotional stability. Improving your life daily is not about perfection, it is about direction. Small habits practiced consistently move you forward even when progress feels invisible. Over time, those habits become the foundation of a life built with intention, discipline, and purpose. Most people underestimate how powerful consistency really is. They believe success comes from rare moments of extreme effort, from sudden breakthroughs, from one perfect decision that changes everything. In reality, life changes through repetition. What you do every day trains your mind, your body, and your character. Consistency is not exciting, but it is dependable. It shows up even when motivation disappears. Motivation is emotional, and emotions rise and fall. If your progress depends on how you feel, your growth will always be unstable. Some days you feel driven, some days you feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. Consistency does not ask how you feel, it asks what needs to be done. When you act consistently, you remove emotions from the decision-making process and replace them with commitment. Discipline is built in ordinary moments. It is built when no one is watching. It is built when the task is boring, repetitive, or uncomfortable. Anyone can work hard for a day. Very few people can work with focus for months without immediate results. That ability separates those who change their lives from those who stay stuck. Small daily actions compound in silence. You do not see dramatic results at first, and that is where most people quit. They assume nothing is happening. But progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. A habit practiced daily may feel pointless in the beginning, but over time it reshapes your identity. You stop forcing discipline and start becoming disciplined. Consistency creates trust within yourself. Every time you do what you promised yourself you would do, even something small, your self-trust grows. When you break promises to yourself repeatedly, confidence erodes. Improving your life daily means protecting that internal trust by keeping commitments, especially the quiet ones no one else knows about. Intensity feels productive because it creates emotion. You feel powerful, focused, and alive. But intensity without consistency leads to burnout. People push too hard for a short time and then collapse. Consistency allows growth to be sustainable. It respects your limits while still demanding progress. Routine is not a cage, it is a structure. A solid routine removes decision fatigue. When you already know what needs to be done each day, you waste less energy debating. Consistency simplifies life. It reduces chaos and creates momentum. When consistency becomes part of your identity, excuses lose their power. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop waiting for the right mood or perfect conditions. You understand that action comes first, feelings follow later. Progress becomes mechanical rather than emotional. The most successful people are not always the most talented. They are often the most reliable. They show up when others disappear. They keep going when results are slow. They respect the process more than applause. Consistency also teaches patience. You learn to accept delayed rewards. You understand that meaningful growth takes time. This mindset protects you from shortcuts that cost more in the long run. Daily consistency builds resilience. When challenges appear, you do not panic because your habits carry you forward. You rely on systems, not motivation. You trust your process because you have proven it works over time. Consistency turns discipline into freedom. When habits are automatic, your mind becomes free to focus on creativity, strategy, and growth. You spend less energy forcing yourself and more energy building something meaningful. Even when you miss a day, consistency teaches you to return quickly without guilt. Progress is not about never failing, it is about refusing to quit. One missed day does not matter, giving up does. When you commit to consistent improvement, your standards rise naturally. You begin to expect more from yourself. You stop accepting excuses you once tolerated. Growth becomes normal. Consistency shapes character. It builds humility, patience, and strength. It teaches you to respect effort over outcomes. Over time, these traits influence every area of life, from work to relationships to self-respect. You do not need massive change to transform your life. You need reliable action repeated daily. When consistency becomes your foundation, improvement becomes inevitable. Improving your life daily also means taking responsibility for your mindset. Your thoughts shape your actions long before results appear in the physical world. What you repeatedly think about becomes the direction of your life. If your inner dialogue is negative, impatient, or filled with excuses, no amount of external motivation will save you. Growth begins when you decide to manage your thoughts instead of letting them manage you. A strong mindset is not about being positive all the time. It is about being honest, disciplined, and intentional. Life will test you with setbacks, delays, criticism, and uncertainty. A weak mindset looks for someone to blame or a reason to quit. A strong mindset looks for a lesson and a way forward. Daily improvement comes from choosing the second response even when the first feels easier. Your mind needs training just like your body. If you skip the gym for weeks, your body weakens. If you allow fear, doubt, and distraction to run freely, your mind weakens. Reading, reflecting, learning, and self-awareness are mental workouts. They sharpen focus and build clarity. Even a few minutes a day spent feeding your mind with something meaningful can change how you respond to challenges. One of the most important daily improvements is learning to pause before reacting. Most mistakes are not caused by lack of intelligence, but by lack of control. Words spoken in anger, decisions made in fear, actions taken in ego often create problems that last far longer than the emotion that caused them. A disciplined mind creates space between feeling and action. Silence is a powerful mental tool. When you stop explaining yourself to everyone, you conserve energy. When you stop arguing with people who do not want to understand you, you protect your peace. Not every thought needs to be spoken. Not every plan needs to be announced. Mental strength grows when you learn that validation from others is not required for self-belief. Your focus is another daily responsibility. Whatever you focus on grows. If you focus on problems, you feel trapped. If you focus on solutions, you feel empowered. Distraction is one of the biggest enemies of improvement. Constant noise, comparison, and information overload weaken concentration. Training yourself to focus deeply on one thing at a time is a skill that separates high-level performers from the rest. Comparison is a silent destroyer of progress. When you constantly measure yourself against others, you lose sight of your own path. Someone else's timing, resources, and struggles are not the same as yours. Improvement is personal. The only comparison that matters is who you are today versus who you were yesterday. Daily reflection strengthens the mind. Taking time to review your actions, choices, and emotions helps you grow with awareness instead of repeating patterns unconsciously. You begin to recognize what drains you and what fuels you. Self-awareness turns mistakes into guidance instead of regret. Mental discipline also means learning to sit with discomfort. Growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels rewarding. Boredom, frustration, and uncertainty are signs that you are stretching beyond your comfort zone. A strong mind does not run from these feelings. It observes them and continues forward. Gratitude is another daily mental practice that improves life quietly but powerfully. When you train your mind to notice what is working instead of only what is missing, your perspective shifts. Gratitude does not mean settling. It means acknowledging progress while still striving for more. Your beliefs define your limits. If you believe you are incapable, unlucky, or behind, your actions will align with that belief. Daily improvement requires challenging old stories you tell yourself. You are not your past mistakes. You are not your current situation. You are the result of what you repeatedly choose. Protecting your mental environment is just as important as building strength. The content you consume, the people you listen to, and the conversations you engage in shape your thinking. If your environment is full of negativity, gossip, and fear, your mind absorbs it. Improvement means being selective, even if it feels lonely at first. Rest is also a mental discipline. Overworking without recovery leads to burnout and poor decisions. A rested mind thinks clearly. Improvement is not about constant pressure, it is about sustainable growth. When your mindset improves daily, your confidence becomes quiet and grounded. You stop chasing approval, you stop reacting to every opinion, you move with purpose instead of urgency. Mental strength allows you to stay calm while everything around you is noisy. Daily improvement of the mind builds inner stability. When external circumstances change, your core remains steady. You trust yourself to adapt, learn, and continue forward no matter what comes your way. When you commit to improving yourself daily, you stop waiting for life to change and start becoming the reason it does. Growth is not built in dramatic moments, but in quiet, consistent choices that shape your character, discipline, and direction over time. Every habit you refine, every thought you challenge, and every reaction you control brings you closer to the person you are capable of becoming. Progress may feel slow, but it is always working in your favor when you stay intentional and patient. The life you want is not created by luck or noise, but by clarity, self-control, and the courage to show up for yourself every single day. And when you do that consistently, everything else begins to align naturally.